Welcome to R&B Sauce. This is DJ Pineapples, and today we have a very special guest in the building. She's from West London, has an incredible voice, and recently dropped her latest single, Fly on the Wall. Welcome, Tyler Lewis. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I love this.
Of course. No, I love your music. We're going to get into it later, but you are incredible. Like I said, vocally, listen, in the UK, she is definitely one of the best.
Don't gas me up because it actually will go to my head. I'm going to sleep so well.
So Tyler, one of the things I like to do on R&B Sauce is bring it back to the beginning. What are some of your first musical memories?
I remember my mum cleaning the house and playing Liberty X. See, that was a rogue one, but I love Liberty X. So I remember her dancing Liberty X. I remember walking around the house and Mariah Carey's album was always playing, Luther Vandross. I remember driving into Haven. Do you know that like camping park? We drove into Haven and my dad was playing Sexy Eyes, Dr. Hook. So like that is the vibe, those are my memories with music.
So do you have like a musical family, would you say?
Yeah, I would say my dad loves a bit of jazz, and at the moment like his bag is Silk Sonic. Like this guy's Bruno Mars in his soul. And my mum has always loved like Brian McKnight, Luther Vandross, so it's always been like that. And my sister was like from young obsessed with Michael Jackson. So I've been surrounded by a lot of stuff growing up.
But can anyone else sing?
Do you know when you don't want to violate? Like my dad actually can. My dad can actually sing, but not like he's not going to be doing up like la la la, like really like doing it. But if he's singing in the car, like he's singing.
And what age would you say that you started singing?
My mum always said her first memory of me singing, or when she clocked it, is we were walking on the beach on holiday. And I was singing like, that's what friends are for. And I'm like, that is crazy. But that was when I was like 5, I'd say. Wow. But other than that, I remember just singing when I was like 9 years old in a talent contest. And that was the first time I really sang in front of people.
Is that the Mariah Carey hero? Yeah, I saw that. Do you know what? So like I was saying earlier, like I kind of grew up with a singing background. I feel like it was always like Mariah hero or like Whitney Houston as well. But I feel like growing up singing them kind of songs is what makes you like a great vocalist, because the range, like the notes that you have to hit from young, you know?
And the thing is, growing up like mimicking Mariah Carey's riffs, only now I grow up and I like see it and I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy that I was like, that's what I was listening to, being like, I want to sing like that. And like, it's just insane.
Learning from the greats though.
Yeah.
Right? And would you say there was like a specific album that you remember like sparking your love for R&B specifically?
Ooh, Usher Confessions. I feel like that's a classic though. Do you know what I mean? I feel really basic saying it, but it's so true.
No, for sure. I feel like so much people talk about that and it being 20 years old as well this year.
That is insane.
I cannot believe it, but...
And this guy's still on roller skates. Crazy.
Usher is just like... Doing? Did you see him in Vegas?
No.
Girl, I saw him twice.
Really?
Do you know, I went to Vegas to see him and it was so good that I was like, I need to go again. Like he was there like a few days later.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? The first time I was recording on my phone, right? So I have memories and stuff. The second time I was like, my phone is staying in my bag. I'm being present and I'm watching this show. And honestly, like I go to concerts all the time. Like I've seen so much artists, but I feel like for me, that's the best show I've ever seen.
Really?
And he done like a lot of album cuts. Like he done Seduction.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Seduction is my song. Like, but he's coming next year, isn't he?
Oh yeah, because I'm seeing Brian McKnight tomorrow. And that for me is literally like
Is that with Boyz II Men?
Yeah. That is my dream concert and I'm going and it's like a bucket list thing. So I know I'm going to have that exact same experience of like, I'm going again.
I've seen Brian McKnight, but I saw him at the Jazz Cafe like years ago.
Stop.
Yes, it was like a very intimate kind of, and seeing him like on the keys and playing like the classics. But I guess for you, like you said, you grew up with Brian McKnight.
I'm going to cry. Best believe I'm shedding tears.
What's your favourite Brian McKnight song? Have you got some?
Yeah, One Last Cry. And do you know what it is like when I was young, I didn't have to relate to it. I was just crying, babe, at this guy.
When you were young?
Yeah, I remember I would just be tearing up and I was like, what is this feeling of sorrow
wow.
and sadness?
One Last Cry was really making you cry. That is hilarious. But you know what, Tyler? The first time I heard you sing was on the TV show Little Mix The Search back in 2020, and you killed your audition singing Mariah Carey Circles. How was that experience for you?
When I look back, I genuinely do not remember it. I'm like, I can't remember seeing the message and then like going to the audition. Like, I don't know what possessed me because I'm like very anxious now.
Yeah.
But like back then, 100%, I'd be so nervous. But I think I threw myself into it because it's like once in a lifetime experience. And then before I knew it, I was in the show and like it was live and all this stuff. But I'm just glad I did it because it taught me so much about like the industry. Like, I'd never been around musicians like that ever in my life.
But how did you like get hooked up with that then? Did you get like a message, an email? Was you putting out covers at that point?
Yeah. So I had like a couple covers on my Instagram and they had like 0 views. Like, it was dead. And then I got a message while I was working at premiering, and it was someone being like, oh, we've got private auditions for this new show that's coming out. And then I was like, I don't know, there was something about me that I thought, oh, this feels a bit fake, but I kind of want to see if it is. So I brought my mum to the auditions, and I remember walking into the design centre, and there were literally hundreds of girls there, and I was like, whoa,
Wow.
did not know it was like this. And so, yeah, that's how it started.
And Little Mix were just kind of like sitting there. Was this like the audition?
Yeah, this was like the pre-auditions, like before like you
before
really
you get
see
to
them.
them.
Yeah. So the first time I saw them was when I walked out on like, and it was filmed.
But no, that audition, like I really remember it. It really sticks out. Even on like TikTok, I've seen it go around, and it's on YouTube as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, you absolutely smashed it, and I love the fact that you chose that song as well.
Thank you.
Just like the album cuts, you know, like
Yeah,
going a little
she's like
bit deeper.
deeper.
Yeah. You know, I love that. So when the show finished, did you have like a plan of what you were going to do next?
Leading up to the show, I said to my mum, I want to go to university and like study like wildlife conservation or something, or like criminology.
Wow.
And then I came out the show and I was like, oh my God, why did I have so much fun? Like, I remember like every day, like even though it was like stressful and it's like out of my comfort zone, I was having so much fun. And I left the show being like to my mum, I'm not going to go to uni. I think I'm going to try and be in music. But I didn't know anything about music at that point. And while I was on the show, MNEK messaged me like and followed me on Instagram. So I messaged him just being like, help. Like, what do I do? Who do I need to know? And then I met up with him and like the rest is history.
So when did you guys start working on music, you and MNEK?
January 2021. So it feels like 100 years ago now.
So that's like 3 years ago before. So from that time you guys started working, and then your first single.
That was the 4th song we ever wrote, was Downtime. It's crazy.
So would you say you were kind of like working on developing a sound almost?
I think for the first 10 sessions, I'd say I had no intention of releasing. I was just like, this is so fun. Like, we're just like in a studio writing, and it was like, we're snacking, and it was just so fun. And only when we like sat down and he wanted to sign me was I like, oh my God, I'm going to be an artist. Like, this is like real.
Wow.
And only now it's like really.
So how long after did he like say to you like, I want to sign you?
I met him in the January, and then in the June he FaceTimed me with Ian James and was like, I want to start a label. And I burst into tears. I was like, there's no way, not me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah,
MNEK
it's a good
is the
story.
guy though. He
100%.
really is. So you released your debut single Downtime in January. I absolutely love the nostalgic 2000s feel, and you are giving us vocals.
Thank
What was
you.
the creative process behind that track?
Since it was like the 4th song I'd ever written, I remember we walk in, like, it's the same now, we walk into a session, they're like, what do you want to write about? But back then I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so they were just like prodding me like, do you go out? And I was like, no, I love being at home. And it kind of like started from there of being like, I want an acoustic song, and I love Brandy, and I just want to write about something that I genuinely believe in. I feel like the songs that I release, I want them to come from something real.
For
and
sure.
so I just love downtime and being at home. So that's how that started.
And what about the production though? Like, so it was MNEK on that one?
MNEK and production, ridiculous.
And what about like the vocal producing?
It was me, MNEK, Ian James and Ryan Ashley. And Ryan Ashley and, well, to be fair, everyone in that room are very R&B.
Yeah,
And so
you can
I
hear
remember-
it.
Yeah, you can. And like now I listen back to the song being like, oh, we didn't even know how good that song was. Like at the
Such a
time, we're like, oh, it's just another
tune.
song.
I
And now I
love
listen
it.
back like, I love it.
So let's get into your latest single, Fly on the Wall. I have had it on repeat. It's definitely given me like throwback Timberland vibes. How did that session go?
So one of my best friends is Kieran, who's a producer.
Shout out to Kieran. 'cause
Shout out
he's
to
super
Kieran.
talented.
This guy's ridiculous. And we met up for a coffee before the session. And in this when we were in this coffee shop, I was just gossiping and I was talking about the guy I liked at the time, and I was like, oh God, why is he not with me? And like just chatting. And when we got into the session, I remember saying like, we were just like carrying on the conversation. I was like, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that situation.
Oh, wow.
And then Kieran was like, hold up. And I was like, hold up. And so
He's like,
that's
"That's
how
a
it
song."
started. Yeah, he's like, that's giving title. So that's how that started.
And who came up with the idea on the second verse to like switch it to like the Jersey kind of like the up tempo?
MNEK.
Okay.
Because what happened is I feel like we had basically the second verse always sounded like the first verse when we first did the demo. And then we were sitting down with MNEK and we were like, it sounds a bit dead. And we just kept going through different things. He was like, what about Jersey? And I was like, no. Kieran was like, no. And then we listened to it and we were like, maybe we should keep that. So, yeah.
It's really smooth though.
Yeah,
because you know, like the transition
crazy,
is perfect. Sometimes when something like that happens in a song, it can be a little bit like, what just happened?
I think that's where we were at when we first heard it. We were like, I don't know what's going on. This doesn't sound right. And then we kept listening to it, like, actually, there's something about this that just hit.
It really does. And also, like, the fly in the production. That's what really gives me, like, the Timbaland vibe as well, because obviously he would use, like, crickets and just, like, different kind of sounds. But, fly on the wall, that's my song right now. It's actually incredible. And the music video as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. So, Tyler, I noticed that you're credited as a songwriter on both tracks. What is your process when it comes to songwriting?
So I feel like I do have a list of notes on my phone being like, oh, these are little song titles or ideas or things I've seen on, like, in films or, like, on a train. And then I'll go into the session usually, like, now I only really work with this producer called Relight, and I basically let him do his thing because I think he gets the vibe already. And then I always let the producer kind of do their thing, and I'll hop in and I'll be like, it's just like a shared note. It sounds so, do you know what it is when you see it? Or like when you hear about songwriting, it's like, oh God, like everyone's sitting there with like their notepads, and it's really not that. No. It's like everyone on their phones, on Rhyme Zone.
Exactly. Yeah, because I'm around a lot of songwriters, and like the reason I ask is because I know some people, like, their formula would be they'd hear the beat, the instrumental, and then they'd like get the mic and they'd just kind of freestyle the melody first. But some people, they will like come with an actual song like written out, and then they'd be like to the producer, can you build something around
that? Is
like,
crazy.
Yeah, I feel like maybe some people, the story to them is super important, and they just want to make sure that this song is written like this. Yeah. And obviously with space, with songwriting as well, like with words. Yeah. If you got a beat, like you can only fit a certain amount in, like, you know how it is, like with maths, literally. So like, but yeah, so your formula, would you say that you do that of like go on the mic and kind of like freestyle melodies first?
Melodies 100%, but if someone's like, come on, just spit a couple bars, no, best believe never gonna happen. No, I'm a stress head. It's giving anxiety.
Really?
Yeah. Even like cutting vocals, I feel like that used to be like the scariest thing for me when they'd like, okay, now get in the booth and sing the song. I used to be like, no.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, whereas now I'm used to it.
Yeah. I think the more you do things, right, you just get used to it. At the start, it's like scary and it's new.
It's like doing a gig. That's the thing. In front of like 3 people. Yeah. It's so scary.
Yeah. But it's because it's new. And then once you get comfortable and you're doing it more and more, your confidence builds. And, you know, and then you hear the end product and you're like, wow, I actually am amazing. Like, I actually am, you know, like I am that girl. Yeah. Like, so I know that you've also started writing for other artists. How do you find the approach like different compared to writing for yourself?
I just love the lack of pressure. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I go into these sessions and it's like, what do you want to write about? Or like, what are you feeling? What's your situation? Whereas like as an artist, it's like, what do I want to write about? And like, what have I written about before that I don't want to write about now? And I feel like it's like so much less stress. And like even stuff like there's like genres I wouldn't do, or like things I wouldn't write about because I don't resonate with it, whereas I can like go into their song instead. So I feel like it's so much easier. Like I love it. I feel like that's where my heart lies.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
So who would you say are some artists that you would like to write for?
Oh, that's crazy. Do you know what it is? It's like there are people like Flo would have been on my list, but like I worked with them. And I feel like because I know them because of MNEK, now it's like weird. Because it's like I've known them for so long.
So what have you worked with them on?
So I went to 2 of their writing camps. I went to it was the first time I'd ever written for anyone else, and it was last March, and I remember being like, why am I going to this camp when I'm not a songwriter? And then that was like that sparked the love for songwriting, because I was like, oh my god, like there's no stress, like it's really fun. But yeah, I was like, for their like upcoming project stuff, like I'm not probably no songs are getting used, but the experience was always worth it.
Yeah, exactly, just being around other people, and I bet like writing with others as well, and just the vibe, you know.
I love a good room, like when I know it's like, especially like I work a lot with my friends now.
Exactly.
And it feels like a gathering, but like something comes from it, so it's great.
It's so fun. Yeah. So Tyler, now I have you on r&bsauce, right? I need to ask you, when are we getting your track eventually?
Oh, okay. See, I've heard there's a lot. Well, it's soon. That's what I'll say. I hate saying soon, it makes me sick, but it is actually really soon. I think what happened is when I dropped the visualizer, it was like, oh, this is just like, have this. Whereas like I didn't know that people were going to like it as much as I loved it. So now I'm hearing eventually, and I'm like,
we need it, girl, okay? So you've been killing it this year with 2 amazing singles. So I need to ask you about the project. So is there one on the way? Like, what is going on?
There is definitely one on the way. And I feel like it was like weird talking about it before, because I was like, can I say it? But then I feel like now it's just like, that's what happens. Like, you have to come out with like an EP. Yeah. But yeah, there is something on the way. with a few songs, and it's just exciting to know that there's like more to come. Like these songs were like in the bank, and all these songs have been like in the bank for so long. So now I'm getting actual music out there. It's like, it's exciting.
Do you know what? That's something I wanted to ask you, is how much songs would you say that you actually like recorded? Because I know the process is that you go in the studio, you make lots of music, and then it comes to like putting a project out, and it's like you've got a whole list of so much songs and you need to cut it. So how much songs would you say that you have like recorded?
On my phone, I probably have like minimum 160 songs.
What?
Yeah, it's disgusting. But the thing is that, and like the ones I've selected that I actually like, it's like 12. That is lame. And I like put days into like recording these songs, and I love doing it because I like hearing the like, especially the ones at the very start. I would do like a song a day. So it'd be like I'd have all this music fully recorded, BVs and everything on. Whereas I listen back now, I'm like, that's good, but for someone else. But it's just good experience.
But would you say that that's also more about you knowing yourself as an artist more now?
100%.
And kind of knowing what direction you want to go in?
Back then, if I heard anything recorded, I was gassed. I was like, oh my God, like this is my next single. And I listen now, I'm like, that was never going to come out. But it's exciting to like, now I'm really specific with what I like, even put time into recording and like, especially with like downtime and that out, like I know the vibe I want to sit in. So I'm just more catered towards that now.
So with Fly on the Wall, when did you actually record that song? Is that like more of a recent one?
That was last year, like last March, I'd say. And then I had like, it was fully vocally recorded by September. I think it was just a vibe, like we wrote the song and I sent it out to like my manager and everyone's like, this is great. And so I was like, okay, now I know I want to stick to that and like I want to work on that. So yeah, that was a quicker turnaround than Downtime. Downtime was a long time
But you
coming.
said that so the production was done in March, and then you said that you recorded the vocals later.
Yeah.
So you were kind of sitting with that song for a little while. Really?
And when I listened to the demo, I'm like, oh my God, thank God we didn't go with that. But yeah, we went back, redid all the vocals, rearranged it, and it's just like, now it feels more like it sits in the pocket that I want to be in.
And you know, I need to ask you then, so like talking about, you know, your sound and cutting songs and stuff, how would you describe your sound?
Nostalgic. I would say I like nostalgia, but I also want it to be fresh. Like I kind of like the Downtime for me. If it wasn't my song, I would still listen to it. And I think that's how I judge my music. Like, would I release it and listen to it or not?
Yeah, no, for sure. But I feel like it's got that essence of like the classic R&B, but it does sound fresh though.
Thank you.
Yeah, like it definitely doesn't sound dated at all. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you. I
like,
think that's a big thing. I didn't want to sound dated.
No, I feel like Flo are doing a great job of that. People like T.A. Thomas as well, another artist. Like I feel like he's done a perfect merge of that. And there is just so much amazing R&B artists out right now.
I love them all.
I know. So Tyler, I want to get into some questions about R&B with you, okay?
Okay.
So can you give me 3 songs that you would consider modern day R&B classics?
Losing You, Flo. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I listen to that song and I always think, I wish that was mine. I just like, I love that song.
It's got like a Babyface.
Yes, it does.
feel.
And I love Babyface. Silk Sonic, Put on a Smile, and Money Long, Made for Me.
Oh,
that song, like, what? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you know what? So like I said, I was interviewing Eric Bellinger a couple weeks ago and he said Money Long as well, Made for Me. I feel like right now, I went to a R&B block party, which was like an old school event, and they were playing like, say, like the classics like Jodeci, like H-Town, like Faith Evans, Mary, all that stuff, right? Everything was old school, but they played that song and everyone was singing every word because it has that feel.
Yeah.
That
and it's like classic.
Feel.
Yeah, it's so classic. And I feel like it could have come out 20 years ago, it could come out 10 years ago, but like it just fits. And I don't know what it is. Like I listen to that and I'm like, it's simple, and yet I want to write a song like that. It's just amazing.
No, Money Long is a great writer. Yes. And also Brian Cox, the producer, like we're saying, you know, his sound.
Yes.
It's just, like it literally sounds like a Brian Cox song from like 20 years ago. And I love that he hasn't like changed.
Yeah, I like people that they like don't have to evolve with the time.
Exactly.
And stuff, like, it works.
Exactly. They just stick to great music. You know, that's what we want. And what about your top 3 R&B albums?
Usher Confessions, but that's basic, and She's Staying Forever. Oh, do you know, am I cheating if I say the essentials of? Because I feel
you're
like
kind of cheating, girl.
I'm cheating, but I'm saying, I'd say Luther Vandross' Christmas, like his Christmas album.
Okay.
That for me, well, like I love Christmas and I love him, so like the merge is perfect.
So do you listen to the Christmas album like just all year round?
Yes. Are you joking? He said the Christmas song every year, every Christmas, every day.
That's so funny.
And then probably like Babyface Greatest Hits. I know that's fake. That makes me a fake gal, but he can't write a bad song, so I'm going to say it.
Babyface is one of the greatest of all time.
I love that
It's
man.
incredible.
Yes.
What about your top 3 R&B singers?
Bruno Mars, every day. Whitney Houston. I feel like you can't go wrong with a Whitney.
For sure.
And Luther Vandross again, that guy.
You love
does
Luther,
no
don't
wrong.
you?
I love him.
I love Luther as well, though. He is just incredible. Like,
I think I
his
like
tone.
artists where it's like his tone. No one's ever going to do that like that again. I love it. I respect it.
We lost him way too soon.
I know.
Honestly. So sad.
Do you know what it is? My mum used to love him, and when he died, I remember it was like, my mum was really sad. I never got it because I was like, oh, I listen to his music, but like only growing up and watching him now, I'm like, how did he do that? Like, he was amazing.
I know.
And no one's like that, and I genuinely don't think anyone will come close to that again.
No, I agree with you. He is incredible. So do you know what, Tyler Lewis? I need to ask you also about producers, right?
Okay.
Who are some that you would love to work with?
Dark Child, only because the fact that I could have Dark Child on a song, that's crazy.
Dark
Just
Child,
because
Nana.
yeah, that's all I want.
Dark Child is amazing.
It's ridiculous, isn't he? D-Mile, every
D-Mile.
single day.
Literally, this show, R&B Sauce, is literally a D-Mar like fan show, honestly. I play like so much of his music, and just the fact that he plays like so much instruments as well.
Yes.
I feel like that's so important with producers, you know.
And I think one thing that I love about producers is like when I hear it and I don't have to like look at who's done it, I can tell like that's
They
D-Mile.
have a sound.
Yeah, and I love a good sound.
Exactly. Okay, so D-Mar and Dark Child, I would love to see that. We definitely need to make that happen.
The day it happens, Lord, save me. Save me!
Yeah, no, I don't know how I would, if I was you, how I would deal with it. Like, I don't just faint.
Yeah, honestly, on the spot. Are you
And
joking?
get like starstruck.
It'd be
Is there
crazy.
anyone that you would say actually that you've met that you felt like quite like, oh my gosh, like starstruck over?
So basically, this is like a random one, but I was a huge fan of JP Cooper for a really long time. I loved his voice, and I was like, I loved all of his songs. And then I had a session with him in January, and like it was in my diary for like a month, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna happen, not gonna happen. And then day of, I'm like waiting, and I'm like, oh God, like I was in denial really. And he calls me to be like, it's JP Cooper, like I need to find somewhere to park. And I was like, what? You're calling me because you need to find somewhere to park? And I literally, he was talking to me, and I was just like sweating. Like it was crazy. It was like a very full circle moment. He was like the first person.
And then like, I guess being in the session and then hearing his voice.
And he was writing for me, and he was just like singing a song that I was like, this is crazy.
It must have felt crazy. And what about, who are some of your dream collaborations?
Babyface, Brian McKnight. I want to say Mariah Carey, but I feel like she wouldn't rate me like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, girl, you can sing. She will like you.
Don't. I really
She's very
hope so.
fussy.
Yeah, she's fussy.
But as long as you can sing, and you can sing, so you're good.
Thank
okay,
you.
you're good. She will like you.
Yeah, let's pray. I feel like D-Mar, I feel like that room would just be ridiculous. I feel like I'd just leave there and be like, even if the song wasn't good or wasn't for me, I'd be like, that was the best day of my life.
Yeah, for sure.
And Silk Sonic. I'm not going to miss you out. What the hell? Silk Sonic.
You love Silk Sonic. Do you know what? Talking about Vegas again, I saw them in Vegas like
Did
a couple years ago.
you?
Yeah.
I'm
They were
actually jealous.
incredible. Yeah. Have you not seen them at all
No.
live? No.
The thing is, I know that when they do announce they're coming here, it's actually going to be ridiculous.
But are they? I don't know what's going on with them now. Like, because obviously
I can't tell if
Anderson
it
is
was a
kind of
one-off. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Because Bruno Mars was on the latest Lucky Day song.
Yes.
He worked on that with like the production and stuff, didn't he? What a great song.
So good.
And then Anderson .Paak is doing his stuff with like Knowledge. I don't know, but hopefully they do something again, because I love that like 70s feel,
Yeah,
you know?
so do I.
Really appreciate that. So who else is Tyler Lewis listening to in R&B, like currently? Newer artists.
I love a bit of Summer Banton. Oh my God, she's saying, be my guest. That song.
Yeah, UK. You've got that nostalgic thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really big right now, that
So
2000
big.
sound.
That like Destiny's Child era.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
I'm
and
so
I love
happy.
it.
I'm
So
so
am I.
happy.
Any other Osa? Have you heard of Osa? Oh my God, I love him. And I've been writing with him a bit, and he's just sick. Like whenever he gets in the booth to sing, I'm like, it's like I'm actually fangirling. I'm like, why is this guy so good at singing? It's crazy.
So what can we expect from Tyler Lewis in 2024?
Music. A lot more music. I would say just like putting my roots down as an actual artist. I feel like I've released a couple singles, but I feel like when the body of work comes out, that'll be like, that's Tyler Lewis. And I want to do like more music videos and like dance a lot more and a lot more live stuff. I just want to be an artist. I don't know what's going on.
No, I love the choreography though.
Thank you.
I love like seeing people dancing again. I feel like there was like a time where it wasn't really there anymore.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, people always do that little choreography.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah, but it's not really. I think because there was definitely a point where R&B was a lot more slow.
Yeah.
So with like in terms of just up tempos, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't really much there. And me like being a DJ as well, I'm really wanting up tempos that I can play when I'm out,
Yes.
guys. Like I love it. And you know what happens to me? I'll get a lot of things sent to me and it will be Afro beats, and I'm like, guys, this isn't R&B.
Guys, this isn't for me.
This isn't R&B.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I love it, but it's not R&B.
Yeah.
So Tyler, let everyone know your socials and where they can keep updated.
Okay, so I have the same name on everything. It's Tyler LWS Music. So basically, yeah, it's the exact same on everything. So that's where you
nice
find
and
me.
easy.
Yeah, it's so easy.
You're lucky that you was able to get them, because it's hard now.
Because there's like 100 million Tyler Lewis's out there. So I was trying to stick out as much as I could.
So Tyler, you have an incredible voice, right, as I've mentioned. So do you mind blessing R&B Sauce with an acapella?
Should I do like a couple of lines from Downtime?
Yeah, do your own one.
Okay. Can I get a little space? Everybody's on my case. Wanna put my phone away. I don't know what to say. It's just one of those days. See, I don't wanna kill the vibe with everything that I'm feeling inside. But if only they could read my mind. I'm thinking.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
You're so good.
Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you so much, Tyler Lewis, for coming on R&B Sauce. You are incredible. Keep giving us those vocals. I love your sound, okay? I love the nostalgic feel. And I know 2024 is going to be even bigger for you. I'm going to be supporting your music on R&B Sauce. So everyone, please go and download and stream and purchase, actually, as well. Purchase Tyler Lewis's singles Downtime and Fly on the Wall. And the project will be coming soon. So Tyler Lewis, thank you so much for coming on R&B Sauce.
Thank you for having me.